this right here, you bunch of prima donna ballerina mother.
Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. As we continue our look at the NFL future odds, we start to take a final look at the AFC, and a team that's already opened their training camp this offseason. That's the Buffalo Bills, the AFC East. Team that doesn't have very much of any high expectations this season, but could potentially regress from a 6-win season last year. However, their Super Bowl odds from Bovada come in at plus 7,500, so definitely not a team you're looking at to build a Super Bowl wager around. However, a lot was going to depend on whether or not E.J. Manuel is healthy and progressing in his second year. He basically lost an entire rookie season with injury last year. Didn't get to play very much, so this year is probably going to be a building year for him and the Bills offense as well. Of course, they traded away their number one wide receiver from last year, Stevie Johnson, and drafted another one in Sammy Watkins to go along with Robert Woods. So this team is going to have some potential upside on offense with the running attack of Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller. The question is whether or not Manuel is going to command the respect in order to give Spiller and Jackson room to roam in that backfield. Really remains to be seen of whether or not they can get back to 6 wins, but at plus 7,500, obviously not a team you're betting on for the Super Bowl. AFC price comes in at plus 4,000, that's 40 to 1, and in a conference where it seems like the Patriots and Broncos are going to run the division, it's not going to be easy to play the Patriots twice in the same season and be any sort of value whatsoever. And at 40 to 1, obviously the Bills are not on my radar for a future odds wager, but I think their prices are pretty adequate here this offseason. Bovada, as I've mentioned before, normally has pretty solid future odds pricing. Not really seeing a whole lot of value one way or the other with these AFC prices, and if it's any indication of what the Bills will look like this upcoming season against the spread, probably not going to be much more than a 500 team in that aspect as well. Their AFC East price, of course, they are the biggest underdog in that division at plus 850. Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots, of course, all ahead of them in the future odds, as well as probably the ATS value as well. Plus 850 may be a little bit undervalued, but because the Bills could potentially finish third, second, maybe even second in this division. I think the Jets will probably take over second place, but the Bills aren't necessarily the worst team in the division. I don't think the Dolphins probably have regressed a little bit this season, and if the Jets, they could either be a 6-10 football team or a 10-6 football team. Really depends on what you get out of the offense from them as well. If the Bills hit all their upside really on both sides of the ball, they could potentially have a 7 or 8 win season. The defense is going to be the big question. Couldn't stop the run last year. They lost Jarius Byrd, so their secondary might not be as good. So really not going to really be high on the Buffalo Bills this season. It really depends on what they look like in the preseason for me to change their outlook on their potential for value this upcoming regular season. But that'll do it for me this time. Make sure you check out my other NFL future odds updates here this offseason. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.